Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our latest all-new edition of the Milford Informer. I am Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coet. It has been a very busy week here in the Milford community in these last several weeks. We're only about 2 weeks removed from Milford's annual Springtown meeting, which we carried for you here on Milford TV. A lot of important issues discussed at that town meeting. We also had an opportunity once again to cover all of Milford's senior events for Milford High School leading up to the class of 2025 commencement ceremony, which took place this past Sunday, and we carried it live for you across all of our platforms. And we're just a couple of days removed from covering two big playoff games for the Milford baseball team as well as the boys volleyball team. However, the lead story here in the community, the story that has gripped this Milford community over the last week, has been the story of Marcelo Gomes da Silva. Of course, Marcelo, a junior at Milford High School, a very active student all around in the community. He's a member of the boys volleyball team, a percussionist with the Milford High School band, and created national headlines this week as he was detained by ICE agents over the weekend as he and several of his teammates were heading to an early morning practice with the boys volleyball team in the midst of an MIAA playoff run. And this story was picked up nationally in the days since, has become a constant presence here in the community as students and community members came together in support of Marcelo. We have been following the story as best as possible here at Milford TV this past week, and so we've put together a recap of all of the series of events impacting this community related to Marcelo this past week. So let's take a look at that right now.
We cannot and will not pretend that all is well at Milford High School this morning. It is not. There is fear and anxiety where there should be hope and confidence. There is wrenching despair and righteous anger where there should be gratitude and joy.
In light of recent events, I knew this was something that had to be addressed because education is about fighting ignorance. This weekend, a true friend and beloved student of Milford High School was detained by ICE agents. His family has come to America for the promise of a better life, for the American dream. His family has come to America not only for himself, but to better his education. Not only is he a beloved member of our community, he's a friend to those around him. To show your support, please join us at Town Hall today for a peaceful protest. He needs our support more than ever. When one of us is silenced, we all must speak louder. Let's be the voice for him and for justice.
So as we continue to follow the events related to Marcelo Gomes here in the Milford community, we're so pleased to be joined by the superintendent of the Milford Public Schools, Dr. Kevin McIntyre. Kevin, thank you as always for joining us here on Milford TV. So just to kind of reset, as we've been sharing a lot related to all of the events of the last week here in Milford, to go over kind of the general timeline of events. This all really started last Saturday morning. With a boys volleyball practice early on Saturday, ICE agents pulling over a car with several of the players in that vehicle. Marcelo was ultimately taken into ICE custody. Milford's graduation was the next day. A lot of the speeches contained themes related to Marcelo. There was a large-scale demonstration outside Milford Town Hall right after the graduation. A student walkout was organized on Monday, and then on Tuesday we had a boys volleyball playoff game in Milford with an incredible presence from the community as that game was dedicated to Marcelo.
24 win. The stands rocking once again as Giarducci flashes the free Marcelo shirt to the...
Kevin, as you kind of get your head around the events of the last few days, I guess, first of all, how are you doing? How is the mood in the schools as everyone has reacted to everything that's happened here in Milford?
Yeah, I think, I'm doing okay. I would say, the students are clearly distraught. I think you could see that. You can see that publicly, at any of the, whether it was at graduation or, during the walkout on Monday. And, even at the volleyball game, there was a lot of emotion around it because they've lost, a classmate, a friend, a family member, and they're very concerned about them. And I think that, and I'd say that, the faculty and staff, and I can't speak for everyone, obviously, but I'd say the general sentiment is everybody is shaken by this.
Shaken, to be sure. Kevin, there have been some reports that the ICE agents that pulled over the vehicle that morning had some information related to student absences. I know you released a statement to the media regarding the school and their level of cooperation with ICE agents. Can you maybe expand on that at all as to sort of what that relationship is between any requests ICE may make to the Milford schools regarding student information?
So the ICE has made no requests for student information since I've been the superintendent of the Milford schools, which has been close to a decade, and I'd say more than a decade when I was the assistant superintendent. ICE has made no requests for Milford public school student information.
So I'm curious, Kevin, what you can share about Marcelo. I know you are so involved with the students throughout the district, but it's impossible for a superintendent to know every single student. But I'm curious, though, do you have anything to share about Marcelo and just sort of what he brings to the Milford Public Schools community?
I've learned a lot about him over the last several days. I mean, he was a member of the volleyball team, and you could see the support last night. I think we had well over 1,000 spectators and fans at the event last night. I think in support. We get good crowds for playoff games. I know you cover the playoff games, but this is probably triple or quadruple what we typically get for a second round high school volleyball boys playoff game. He was part of the band. He was a good student and very well regarded by his classmates, and that is very clear from everything I've heard. From the students at the high school, from the high school. And middle school staff and faculty.
I would certainly share those sentiments. We've covered a lot of playoff games at all of the Milford High School facilities over the years. I'm not sure we've ever covered one that had the level of attendance of that boys volleyball game on Tuesday night. It was really something special to even have an overflow of spectators in the auditorium. It was incredible to see the community come together like that.
Yeah, and we probably had somewhere, depending on the time of the game, 25 to 75 folks watching the game in the auditorium because we did not have any more capacity in the gym.
And everyone there wearing white, everyone wearing signs of support for Marcelo. There were posters all around the auditorium, the gym, in support of Marcelo. So really quite a scene.
The atmosphere is electric. It is emotionally charged as these fans not only support this entire Milford boys volleyball team, but send all of their emotion, all of their well wishes, all of their heart to Marcelo Gomez.
Kevin, Milford has really been thrust into the spotlight in this last week. There's been news outlets in the parking lot at the high school almost every day. The story has been carried locally on the Boston affiliates. It's gotten picked up on cable news as well. As you've kind of seen the students and how they've reacted to the situation, many of them have been interviewed. Seeing a lot of the students march in their caps and gowns from graduation to town hall on Sunday to be part of that walkout on Monday. How do you feel the students have responded to this situation overall? So
my primary responsibility as superintendent is safety. And I think, the students have exercised their First Amendment rights and have done so in what I would consider a very safe and responsible manner to this point. And that makes me proud. I think I'm also proud about how the community has kind of come together and rallied. Typically when we get a lot of news media, it's a story specifically about the Milford Public Schools, that something has happened within the Milford Public Schools. And this is different because it's clearly about the Milford community, the Milford Public Schools, and a Milford Public School student. But it's also a much bigger story than something that we've typically had coverage for. Just based on what's happening with people. We've had national news outlets picking up this story, so it's different from that perspective. The scope and the breadth of the coverage is a lot more significant than what we're used to, and again, because I think the situation happened in Milford, but it could have happened anywhere.
So this interview will obviously air as part of our Milford Informer on Friday. So by that point, a hearing will have already taken place in Chelmsford. That's the reporting that's out there right now, that Marcelo is set to have a hearing on Thursday. I don't know if you have any insight as to what the expectations are for, what may result in that hearing, or even if there's the potential for any student or community presence in Chelmsford when that hearing takes place. Do you have any insight there?
Yeah, I can't speak to any aspect of the federal process or, what would happen as part of the court proceedings, or if, folks are allowed to attend, an immigration court proceeding. I just don't have a sense of that. We were, and I think it's important to note that the Milford Public Schools, the Milford Police Department, have nothing to do with immigration enforcement. And the incident where the student was detained took place off campus. They were on their way to a practice, but it did not happen on school grounds. And we really don't have a whole lot of control over the federal court, even the state court system, but certainly not the federal court system, in terms of what the outcomes are going to be or what the process is. And I don't have any insight any more than anyone else does in terms of what to expect kind of moving forward.
Yeah, important details for everyone to remember in such an emotionally charged time. I want to give you a chance, Kevin, to address how the faculty has responded to this situation. I know I had a chance to walk around the demonstration on Sunday. I think I saw just about every administrator present there helping to make sure that things were safe and that the students were exercising their rights responsibly. I know that the faculty shared some thoughts, especially Dr. Otland, during the commencement ceremony. I'm sure that faculty have been dealing with a lot of tough conversations in their classrooms over these last few days. How do you feel the faculty has responded to this situation?
No, they've been very, very supportive. There was some faculty members that were present at the demonstration on Sunday, again exercising their First Amendment rights. But I asked our administrative team to come out to graduation. Our full administration team, whoever was available. Just because it was a unique graduation for a lot of reasons. And, our overarching theme was we wanted to make sure that the students were safe. And that was really, and we worked hand in hand with the Milford Police Department. They've been fantastic partners in this. They've been just great to work with. And I think they share a lot of the same goals that we do. Obviously, I'm not going to speak for Chief Tessino and his team, but they've done an exemplary job of making sure each event is safe for everybody and for the public at large too.
So I'll have one. I have one final question for you, Kevin. Just sort of a big picture question. It's been incredible to see the courage that a lot of the students have shown here in these last few days, exercising their rights, standing up for a classmate. But I know that there's also a lot of fear in the community with what's happened. Fear from students, fear from parents. What's sort of your message to folks, to students in the district, to parents who are afraid in the aftermath of this situation?
Yeah, it's tough to say like one or two specific things. Schools continue to be safe places for students, and I hope our families still continue to trust us with their children. I think there's a lot of information out there from the Massachusetts Attorney General's office that parents can access. But it's hard for me to say anything about because I don't want to give anybody legal advice. I do not want to give anybody really any type of necessarily advice because immigration law is not my area of expertise. I can't speak to what the federal government or ICE agents will do as an entity. I just don't have a clear sense of that. Moving forward, if things are going to continue as they are, or if it's going to change in some way. I really have no sense of that. But what I can say is, schools continue to be safe places, and our overarching goal is to make sure that all of our students are safe when they're on our campuses, and whether it's in school, at a game, at an extracurricular activity. There's a lot of stuff going on at the end of the year. We've kind of just passed prom season for the high school, but there's a lot of other events, K through 8 that are happening. We still have, I think, a few playoff games left at the high school level too. Hopefully that goes on for a little bit longer. But, I think all we can do is continue to support our students, our staff, and our families in the best way that we can. And that's really what we're trying to do through all of this is to keep our students safe.
It's been a really challenging time in the community, but again, from what we've observed in these last several days, it's been really incredible to see the way that this community has come together, the way the students have handled themselves, and the way that the schools have handled themselves. It's been certainly a bright spot in what's been a very tough situation to impact this community. So, we certainly thank you for everything that you've done. We really appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts here with us today, and we'll just continue to monitor this situation as it moves forward. But Kevin, thank you as always for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Always a pleasure.
And a big thank you to Dr. Kevin McIntyre for taking the time out to come to our Milford TV studio to share his insight on the situation with us earlier this week. We recorded that interview with Dr. McIntyre on Thursday of this week, and as it turned out, a big development took place a little bit later on in the day on Thursday, as Marcelo had an immigration hearing, and the result was Marcelo was released on bond. And late in the day on Thursday, Marcelo made his return back here to the Milford community. There were many members of the Milford community at the immigration hearing outside demonstrating in honor of Marcelo. There were many residents gathered here in Milford when Marcelo made his return, an emotional return here to a community that has embraced him, that has kept him at the forefront over this last week. And so certainly a very positive development in the story with Marcelo now back at home. We will certainly continue to monitor this story as it moves forward, as I'm sure there will be more developing here in the days and weeks ahead. But for right now, Marcelo back where he belongs here in the Milford community, and we could not be more pleased to see Marcelo returned here to his hometown. And we know a lot has gone on with the family, and we certainly give all of our well wishes to Marcelo and his family as they continue to navigate this situation moving forward. And once again, if we can bring you any additional details on this story here on the Milford Informer or across our Milford TV platforms in the weeks ahead, we will certainly do that for you. But we will continue to move forward here on the Milford Informer as we have some other top stories to bring you this week, including a major event that's coming up here in the Milford community in just a couple of weeks. No doubt many folks have seen the construction work going on over the past year over at Milford Town Park. Well, we are just a few days away now from a big unveiling of all of the new facilities over at Town Park, and the Milford Cultural Council will be hosting a very special celebration to officially cut the ribbon on those new facilities. And so we were so pleased to be joined by members of the Cultural Council, Jerry Edens and Martine Montoya, to learn all of the details about this special celebration. Let's check out that interview now. We are happy to once again be joined by representatives from the Milford Cultural Council. We have the Cultural Council Chair, Martine Montoya. We also have Jerry Edens with us. Thank you both so much for joining us. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for having us, Tim.
So always great to catch up with the Cultural Council. You guys are just amazing with so many events, so many initiatives that you continue to bring to the Milford community, and a really special event, a Milford Town Park celebration that is on the horizon in just a couple of weeks to unveil a lot of the new and exciting stuff that residents are going to get to finally now see fully realized over at Town Park. For people who have been driving around the Town Park area the last year, there's obviously been a lot of changes going on. This has been a project that's been kind of a long time in the making. So before we talk about the celebration itself, Jerry, can we just kind of take folks back and refresh everyone's memory on exactly what the work is that's been going on in Town Park for the last year?
Yes, happy to do that. It's really a complete renovation of Milford Town Park. Very excited about it, and we understand that people have been waiting for a long time. The process was initiated over 2 years ago with the grant process, and the construction actually started in July 2024, but it's on schedule according to Parks and Recreation Administrator Jim Assam. Everything is moving along smoothly and will be completed by the middle of June. So what is happening is we have a bunch of brand new courts that have been built, 2 new tennis courts, 2 new basketball courts that also double as street hockey arenas. and 4 new pickleball courts, as well as what's called a fitness court studio, which is an outdoor gym that we are installing in partnership with the National Fitness Campaign with a grant from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. And what this is, it's a complete outdoor exercise area that is double-sided. In the middle, there's a 32-foot wide training wall, and on both sides, there's mats. And on one side of the training wall, there are different pieces of equipment, and there's a QR code on the wall that you can use to access the coach in your pocket, they like to call it, that explains how to go through all the different exercises. And there are 7 different stations that involve using your own body weight, pushing, pulling, and it's all designed for adults aged 14 and over and for people of all abilities. So it's a really exciting piece of equipment. On the other side is just an open studio mat, so folks can do yoga, tai chi, gymnastics, and on that side of the fitness court studio is a mural. And that's the piece that the Cultural Council has been intimately engaged with throughout this process. We had a call to artists to submit designs in December of 2023, so it's been a while. The winning mural is designed by Carol Abram. She's a Massachusetts artist, and she created a design that's called Fitness for All, which is a true reflection of health and wellness here in Milford, celebrating our diverse population and a lot of the keystones that we think about when we think about what Milford is. Milford pink granite. There are photographic elements in the mural that look at these elements, the Memorial Hall. There's a nod to Boots Museuli and our jazz heritage here in Milford. So there are lots of different things reflected in the mural that I hope that once the park is open and people can go check it out, they'll take the time to really look and see what they can find.
Just so many exciting things to look forward to finally see when the celebration takes place. And Martine, with the mural project, this has been something that's been so special for the last several years, seeing all of the different art initiatives pop up around the community, whether it was the trash cans a few years ago, the picnic tables, now to see a mural like this, to be able to see all of these artists expressed in all of these different mediums around town. It really just gives the community just a really special feeling.
Not a question, Tim. I think your mention of the barrels and the tables is specific and interesting because up until about a year ago, Milford's public signage laws precluded the implementation of murals. And this is actually the first mural that the town has been able to openly engage in and have installed. So this is it's a big day both for the community and for the Cultural Council, having been working on pushing this ball forward for the last several years.
So again, Jerry, I want to get to all of the specifics of the celebration itself. So the Milford Town Park celebration, it's taking place on Saturday, June 21st, so just a few weeks away. Over at Milford Town Park, it's going to be taking place from noon to 4 p.m.
Correct.
And just a day full of a lot of special activities, as well as the official unveiling of all of these new facilities. Can you share with us kind of an overview of what folks can expect on the day?
Yes, absolutely. Happy to. We're really excited to be working together with the Parks Commission and the Parks Department to plan the Town Park celebration. We are planning this as a fun, family-friendly event. All Milford residents are invited to come join us. It's all free. And we're gathering together as a community to celebrate the renovations in the park. We will be providing equipment on all the new courts. So it's an experiential event. If you've never tried pickleball before, here's your opportunity. The Parks Department will have the equipment out there, the balls in the basketball court, etc. We will also be launching the fitness court, and that will take place after a ceremony that we'll be hosting that starts at 1 o'clock. So the event runs from 12 to 4, but at 1 o'clock we're going to have a ceremony with town officials, as well as a representative from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. We will be including a rededication of the basketball court, because the previous basketball court that was taken down to accommodate the addition of new open space to provide for passive recreation. So that court is now gone, but we have 2 brand new courts, and they're being rededicated to John Chili Frabata. That will be included in the ceremony. And at the end of the ceremony, we'll be introducing the artist, Carol Abram, to the community. And then we'll have a countdown to the ribbon cutting. So this ceremony will take place right in front of the fitness court at 1 o'clock.
Outstanding, and certainly hoping for great weather, a late June day, and just a great opportunity for folks to get back out to Town Park and just gather together and really see all of this new stuff in action. But not only will folks have a chance to get to try out the new courts, to see the fitness demonstrations for the new fitness court, but a little bit of fun to be had as well with some food vendors and some live music as well.
Yes, it's a big party. So we do have Milford resident strength conditioning coach Jose Pinto. We also have different food vendors who will be there, 2 food trucks, Taco Laco and Simmer and Spice, which is not just Indian food, it's paninis and soups. We will also have folks from Rail Trail Flatbread Company selling New Creamery ice cream. And we have a Milford family that has a business called Citrus Got Real, selling handcrafted lemonades, all different kinds of flavors. So there's going to be a lot happening in the park on June 21st, and we really hope to have a big crowd come.
An opportunity to see all of the new fitness equipment, all of the new courts, and just a beautiful new space for residents to enjoy, and a day that will be full of a lot of music and fun and activities as well. So make sure you head out to that event on June 21st. Martine and Jerry, thank you so much for sharing all kinds of great information with us. We look forward to checking in with you again soon. Thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
We cannot wait to bring our Milford TV cameras out to that special Town Park celebration. So once again, that's happening on Saturday, June 21st. A lot of special activities planned throughout that day, including a very special ribbon cutting ceremony to officially unveil those new facilities over at Town Park. So we will have our cameras there, and we hope to see you there as well. Moving on to our final top story of this week, we once again had an opportunity to cover the Milford Public Schools Art Department, as there was a district-wide art show that took place just a couple of weeks ago over at Milford High School, showcasing artwork from kids across the entire Milford Public Schools district. And once again, Chase Pettinelli was on the case. He went out to Milford High School to bring you all of the sights and sounds from that art show. Let's take a look at that.
Tonight is our district art show. It is all grades from the whole entire district of Milford, and we have a lot going on. We have art to show. We also have demonstrations. We have stuff for sale. Kids also have the opportunity to make art of their own tonight. Anybody that comes can make slime or paint ornaments or use model magic to make some clay. They also get to try out the potter's wheel if they want to. And so we got a lot of really cool stuff going on. The kids are really into creating an atmosphere for this show, so it's really come a long way since we started having the students be involved in like what we put out and what we're doing here. And so it's been a lot of fun.
It's sort of like an extravaganza. We have people making and selling things from jewelry to pottery. We have face painting, slime making, all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. There's even a drum set that you can just play and have fun with. So there's that.
all the art pieces that all the kids at all the different schools make. We all come together and we all look at all the pieces and like celebrate what the kids have done.
I always tell kids, I'm like, you can learn in the art room some of the things that you learn in your other classes, but also get something for yourself out of it. And so sometimes I tell kids that really love art, and they're like, I can't fit it in. I've got too many of these classes, too many of that class. I'm like, don't forget to do something for yourself. And I was just like, it feeds your mind, body, and soul. And you also learn how to problem solve and how to create stuff. You learn different skill sets. A lot of life skills in the arts.
There is a direct link between the creativity you develop in art programs and the possibly, although not always, more lucrative careers in STEM. I know so many people who are in STEM who really practice things from like the visual arts to even kind of more classical craftsmanship style arts. I know a lot of engineers who do things like blacksmithing and things that have really become artistic outlets, even though they were once more technical outlets, and that's all looped in. Like we do jewelry making, which is one of our larger art programs, and it's all metalworking.
The art piece I have, I made a pair of earrings. They're made out of ribbons, and I made bows. They're paired with a necklace that my friend made. They're based off of a band called Choke Cherry.
I encourage kids to come. I'm so happy to see the younger kids come because they can see all the different things that they have available to them when they get to the high school and the middle school, which it is not available at the lower grades. So I think they get inspired, and I hope that they want to continue to be in the art program as they see all these amazing pieces of artwork.
So there's a go-kart over at my station. That was a senior capstone project. They were working on hybridizing a go-kart. They didn't get quite as far as they would have liked. There's a student who's going to take it over as a senior next year for his capstone project. And then there's video games. There's an award-winning project using kind of thermoelectric generation. That won an award at the state. That won like the capstone award at the state showcase for Project Lead the Way projects. It was very exciting.
I think programs like these are important because it helps boost children's creativity and their thinking skills, and it really just like helps like motivate everyone.
It just brings so much joy. Everybody that's coming here, I mean, you can see all the smiles on everybody's faces.
Art's just like super important right now. It's a great way to express yourself. It's a great way to sort of reflect on the world around you and build skills and sort of have interpersonal communication in like a new way. And you sort of can make sense of the world and create stuff. And I would say that the more you take art and the more you look at art, you're going to just have more things to talk about and more things to do.
The arts and STEM go hand in hand. There are a lot of engineering teachers I've run into, like in the course of my work, that are like, oh, it's STEM, not STEAM, and it's why are we putting this A in here? And like my wife is a music teacher. So much of the work we do is to kind of create beauty, and kind of everything is just a matter, of course, for creating beauty. Like what is there more to humanity? So I get to go and make my things, and there's certainly beauty in all of the engineering work we do. But like it's all in service of being better able to enjoy kind of self-expression.
As we wrap things up on this week's edition of the Milford Informer, we want to remind you once again, we have had some major coverage here on Milford TV in the last few weeks, including Milford's annual town meeting, all of the class of 2025 senior events, and some major playoff games as well, including Milford High School's baseball team against Westfield and that boys volleyball emotional playoff game against the Taunton Tigers. All of that coverage is available for you across all of our platforms, locally on our channels and streaming on our YouTube channel. So make sure you check out all of that coverage. And of course, as we get into the summer, we'll have a whole lot more for you as well, including Milford Legion baseball coverage and the Claflin Summer Concert Series, as well as a whole lot more. So keep checking in with us throughout the summer right here on Milford TV. But that's going to wrap things up for this edition of the Milford Informer. We thank you, as always, for tuning in. And from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.